Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a fantastic day so far. If you are new here then welcome. My name is Millie. I post all about the cruelty-free and affordable makeup that is on the market. I review so much of it, so if you are new here I would love it if you would subscribe if that's the sort of content that you are into. In today's video I am going to be battling these two out against each other. It's a battle of the dupes again. So we've got the Revolution Bright Light Bronzing Drops. Now I got this in the lightest shade, which is Scorched Light to Medium, and the e.l.f. Bronzing Drops, Bronze and Nourish Drops, and I got these in Bronze 1 Rose Gold. So that's what that one looks like. I'm going to be deep diving into both of these and applying one on one side, one on the other, and figuring out if one is better than the other. So if you like this video so far, if I haven't waffled on too long for the intro, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out a ton. So let's start with a little deep dive into the Revolution one. This is 23 millilitres of product. Now just remember, 23 millilitres of product, and this retails for $9.99, although of course both of these will always be on offer somewhere, whether that is through their website directly or through Beauty Bay, through Boots, through Superdrug, wherever these may be available, they will always be on offer somewhere. The Revolution one comes in two bronzy shades, one blush shade, which I do have, I don't know if I'll be trying it today, and a highlight shade, one that's more like lighter and like to use as a highlight. I assume like after your makeup, I don't really know. So comes in 4 shades technically, but 2 for the bronzing drops, and the e.l.f. one is 30 millilitres of product, so more product. This one is £12, again will always be on offer somewhere, you'll always be able to find a coupon for it somewhere, and this comes in 3 bronzy shades. The deepest shade does go deep, and this is obviously the lightest one because I am who I am. This is the lightest one. So let's just see. I'm gonna put these on the back of my hand first and then put one on one side of my face and put one on the other. So let's start by seeing how liquidy these are. So that is the Revolution one. Not very liquidy at all. I don't know if I'm necessarily expecting these to be liquidy or not. I don't really, obviously I haven't tried the Drunk Elephant one, so I don't really have any sort of expectation. I will say in the bottle, the e.l.f. one feels a lot more liquidy. So let's see. The actual nozzle on both of these feels very similar. Oh, okay. The e.l.f. one isn't as liquidy as I was expecting it to be. Like I say, I was expecting that just from how it was feeling in the bottle. I was expecting that to be a little bit more liquidy, but let's see if we swipe and swipe. Those colours look very similar, don't they? With the e.l.f. one being rose gold, I was expecting something a little bit pinker. It's maybe marginally pinker, but not much at all. So let's see if I rub this in a little bit more. Now that I've got these like directly under my nose, one of these, or maybe both, but definitely one of these is smelling a little bit sort of watermelony. I don't know if I am picking up on that correctly, but yes, see now I feel like I have blended that in a little bit. I'm noticing that the e.l.f. one is slightly pinker and the Revolution one is slightly more yellow. It's marginal. It is very, very marginal. Obviously just depends on your skin tone, depends on what your preferences are. I can't actually blend this into my hand any more than I already have, so I'm going to just wipe these off. And all I have on my skin at the minute is my brows, because if I can avoid coming on camera with no brows on then I do, but got the brows on, but the only like product, I suppose, that I've got on my skin is my moisturiser, which is the Inkey Bioactive Ceramide Repairing and Plumping Moisturiser. This is all I've got on my skin. I would, of course, if it was not 7 o'clock in the evening, I would put an SPF on, but I am not going out into the sun, and there is no sun anyway, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to try and put the same amount on each side. So I'll do the Revolution one on this side, and I'll try and just do a few little drops. Obviously the way that like a lot of people use these is they mix it in with their moisturiser, but I feel like I would just forget. I'm too forgetful to remember which side was which if I had done that. So try and do the same amount of the e.l.f. one on this side. So first impressions of the packaging, the Revolution one is easier to squeeze if you have any sort of like arthritis or anything, you know, that limits your mobility in your hands. You might prefer the Revolution one. That e.l.f. one was quite hard to squeeze, but let me just blend this in so that you can see, like, comparatively each side how they blend in. The Revolution one feels ever so slightly thicker, but really not very much difference at all. Almost like the e.l.f. one is slightly waterier. Waterier? Is that a word? More watery. So it's sort of spreading across my skin easier, but both sides do feel very, very similar. I'm just gonna tap over the centre so I don't have an actual line. And I'm just going to do the same on my neck so that I'm matching. I'm just going to do one little dot of the Revolution one and one little dot of the e.l.f. one. Can't actually see. I hope that's about the same amount. And I'll just blend that down my neck so that my neck is as bronzy as my face. I feel like I look like I've been on a cruise. I wish I'd been on a cruise. Oh. So now that they have like had a little minute to set down, they both feel exactly the same. Both feel basically just like I've put sort of like a serum or like a very thin sort of moisturiser on. Let's zoom in and we can see how these are looking real close up. So this is the Revolution side. It's not looking glittery. I wouldn't even really say it's looking very glowy. Like, it's not making my skin look any more radiant than it was without the product. It's not like adding a great deal of glow. So this is the e.l.f. side. Got the word for it then. I need to like take this up onto my ears a little bit if I'm going to have my hair back like this. But both sides are looking bronzed. Both sides are looking basically the same, like blended out. I don't feel like I can see all that much difference. Let me look real close up. I feel like the e.l.f. one, where I said that it was sort of thinner and being more easily spread, I feel like it's collecting more sort of in my hairline, which is a me problem. I need to just know to blend it a little bit more, and obviously normally I would just mix it in with my moisturiser, but it is sort of collecting a little bit in the old hairline, where the Revolution one was a little bit thicker. I don't feel like I can see it sort of sitting round here as much. So both are looking basically the same at this point. My cat agrees. She wants to be in. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go off and do the rest of my makeup. I'm trying to think what foundation I want to use so that I can test out this almost more like a primer rather than an actual base on its own. Like, I need to calm the bronze down because the difference in between my face and my hands currently is quite drastic. So I'm going to go and choose like a light coverage foundation, do an everyday sort of makeup look, and then we'll be back for the final thoughts. Okay, so that is the rest of the face done. I used, just for reference, I used the Lottie London Velvet Skin Tint because, like I said, I wanted something light coverage so you could still see the bronziness through. And I feel like on both sides, it's looking really, really nice. It's looking nice and sort of warm, but it's not too bronzy, you know, with the light coverage foundation over the top. I feel like that has just made this look a little bit more natural, a little bit more wearable. Now, I don't have any powder or anything on my skin, so this is just the amount of glow that has come from all of those base products. But I wanted to just try, for science, I wanted to try the Revolution blush drops. So these are in Rosy Pink. I know I said I wasn't sure if I was going to try these today. I figure we're here. It's for science. We really may as well. So I'm going to take... what brush am I going to take? I'll take a Real Techniques Expert face brush. The brush that I always use for any sort of liquid blusher or bronzer, anything like that. And let's see what colour this looks like on the back of my hand before I go putting this straight onto my face. So again, it's the same sort of texture, sort of quite thick feeling on the skin as it like first comes out. So I'm just gonna take a little bit in case this is like crazy pigmented, which it isn't, but I'm just gonna like work this into the brush. So that's what that colour's looking like. Really pretty colour. I love that. So I'm just going to tap this in. Obviously my skin is already like flushed. It's warm in here. I do have like big softbox lights, a ring light, I've got an overhead light, like all the lights. It is quite warm in here. It's also been quite warm in the sun today, which has just been lovely, even though it is raining now because April, but it is warm in here, so I am already quite flushed. But that colour, I'm a fan. So I know that I'm putting this Revolution one over the e.l.f. side as well, but I only have this product to use, so forgive me. So I've used all of that product basically off the back of my hand now. I liked how it looked with one layer, but I love how it looks with two. I do like a really blushy moment. I feel like the blush, maybe because I laid down more of it, or maybe because I've laid it on top of my foundation rather than like directly onto my skin, but I do feel like the blush, everything is falling over. I do feel like the blush is more glowy than the bronze drops were. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like the glow on the skin now is exactly where I would like it to be. Sometimes I use like glowy blush products and I'm like, there is not enough glow in there for me. Okay, there is not enough, but I really like how that skin is looking. It looks really fresh, really dewy, really juicy. Bronzed, but not too bronzed. Like, it looks like I've had just a tiny smidge of sun, which I have not. But I feel like that looks really nice. So between the two bronzing drops, specifically the Revolution Bright Light bronzing drops in Scorched Light and the e.l.f. bronzing drops in Rose Gold, ultimately for me it just comes down to the undertone. If you are like me, you're slightly more yellow undertone, maybe neutral to yellow, The Revolution one will probably be a slightly better option for you. Ultimately, the price is like neither here nor there for me, because you get slightly less product with the Revolution one, so it's a little bit cheaper. You get a little bit more product in the e.l.f. one, it's a little bit more expensive. Ultimately, the price is marginal, like they're basically the same. If you are slightly more pink toned, or if you need a slightly deeper tone, the e.l.f. one is probably a better option for you. Both are the same, slightly different undertones, slightly different packaging. Like I say, if you have any sort of mobility issues with your hands where you can't like grab and squeeze sort of in one motion, then maybe the e.l.f. one will be a little bit more difficult for you to use. The Revolution one is slightly softer plastic. I appreciate for a lot of people that like won't even be an issue, but I'm just mentioning it because I struggled to like do that, like squeeze that whilst it was on my face. So it's a small issue for most people, but if that is an issue for you, the Revolution one is slightly easier to use. Ultimately, the same product, as I'm sure we all suspected. So let me know, have you tried either of these products? I would love to know what your feelings are on them as well. Do you prefer the colour? Like, do you feel like the colour is a deciding factor? I would love to know what your thoughts are on all of these products. If you got to the very end of this video, I would love it if you gave this one a thumbs up, and if you are new here, I'd love it if you would stick around for more videos from little old me. I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday, but at the moment there are so many new makeup releases coming out all the time. I'm getting my hands on all of them. I think this week I'm posting 5 videos, so there's just so much content for you to be watching. At the minute I am posting regularly, so I'd love it if you would subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.